Okay, this will be our makeup class. Since I will not be around, um, I haven't been around since. So, usually ma-advance ako nga dihito LP4 and LP5. So, summary lang para pagbalik ko or when we have the face-to-face, we will be enrich more on the enriching part or I will be asking more on the questions. Okay? So LP4 really is the chemistry of the atmosphere. So basically, if I patterned it from your brown, from your main textbook, so that would be chapter 5, I think. So you'll have to look at it. And it pertains to gas loss. So basically, your atmosphere, the basics of it is, of course, gas loss. Okay? And then, so you can see the topic there that I've inputted. So basically, for chapter 5 of that Brownham, I think I just added Henry's law and then your gas stoichiometry. So that is LP4. So what are these? So this would be a summary. Summary for LP4, first video. So as you can see, I'm just following my general topic. So as I also outlined from your syllabus, so we have Henry's law is actually the solubility of your gas. So if you have the solubility of solid in liquid, your Henry's law really is the solubility of gas in liquid. Okay? Solubility is more or less natutunaw. So Henry's law would be important for, let's say, plants underwater or maybe fish underwater because usually the living things needs oxygen to live. So one of the application, of course, is your oxygen, measuring oxygen concentration, the concentration of your oxygen in water systems. Okay, so that's also the reason why if we process a water and then we just dump it in a river system, and since usually from a plant, if it is not contaminated with chemicals, maybe it doesn't have dissolved oxygen. So it's also a pollutant. I mean, water without oxygen would mean fish would die if ever. It would be in contact with streams of water without having oxygen. So directly throwing it in the without measuring its oxygen levels would be also dangerous. So that's one of the applications or two of the applications that I can say. Another thing for engineers is when you're in a bottling company, wherein we usually use carbon dioxide. I'm talking about Henry's law. Okay. Your carbon dioxide, or you can imagine it like this. Um, you can imagine it like this. Since basically your Henry's law is governed by pressure. So pressure is the cause, I mean the force per unit area of those gases with in contact with water. Okay? So you can look at this as this. As I was explaining, when you have a soft drinks, you usually use carbon dioxide as a you usually use carbon dioxide as a what do you call this? A mm, just like drying fish. So preservative, yan. So your carbon dioxide really is a preservative or it also contributes to the taste. So there are main two. So first is preservative and then um of course your why it has to be a preservative because we know that living things needs oxygen for it to live. So basically if you will put a lot of carbon dioxide in a bottled food, usually liquid, so basically your microorganism cannot breathe in that atmosphere, so they will die. And also since you are putting carbon dioxide in that soft drinks, basically you have Henry's law that can measure how many carbon dioxide would be present now in your uh, fluid. So there is a carbon dioxide at the top, of course, but since it is balanced or equilibrated, or it obeys the Henry's law. So that's why Henry's law is important for us to know how much, let's say, carbon dioxide is present at the top and how much carbon dioxide is present, so which is dissolved in the food. Okay, because usually your food is an aqueous solution, meaning watery. There is water, and then maybe there are some other compounds, but most usually it is water. So that's one use of the Henry's law. So what is Henry's law? So Henry's law is just a law, or a in that is Henry's law. Henry's law states that your concentration is directly proportional with your pressure, meaning the concentration of the gas at the top. Meaning if you have closed, a closed system, see, no gas is entering, so the concentration of the gas in the liquid phase is just directly proportional of the pressure of the gas. So you could just imagine if you put a lot of carbon dioxide in the soft drinks. So basically, there's also a lot of carbon dioxide proportion with it that would be dissolved in your water system. So that's the simple rule of Henry's law. And then, of course, when you have like this, you can just add a constant, or not add, you can just multiply a proportionality constant. We usually call it a proportionality constant, and then voila, we already have an equation for your Henry's law, where it states that your concentration is equal to your proportionality constant multiplied by P. Of course, your proportionality constant depends on what kind of gas are you talking about, because that the pressure is, of course, it's something to do also with your gas, but with your K, because your pressure is general to all gases, they do exert pressure, but your K is different for each gases. So, okay, so that's the use of Henry's law. You only have to use that equation, meaning you will be provided with again table for case, and then you can already relate the concentration in the liquid phase with respect to the pressure of the at the top, of a closed system. If it is not closed system, let's say it's the environment, so you could just imagine that you have an earth, okay, and then you have water inside the earth. So basically, this pressure would be the atmospheric pressure, which is usually 180 m. Usually in the Philippines, since we are at the depending on the place on the earth, usually at the equatorial side, just like us, Philippines, we usually experience an atmospheric pressure of 0.99 something. So not really one atmosphere, but most of the computation we will just assume, if we are using an open system, meaning open to the atmosphere, that pressure would be a 180 m. Okay? So that's the simple rule of your Henry's law. So it's really simple. That's why I included it, because it talks about your atmosphere I mean your gases in the liquid state. So that's your Henry's law. Next to it topic, so you only have to read also. I'm just gimpapalaksi ko la. So next is the gas laws. I think there are three main gas laws. So talking about Boyle's law, Charles' law, and Amonton's law. So what you have to remember only, because yes, they are equation, but there are importance also on how it is conceptually derived, because from the derivation, it's not just you can only have the equation, but also the logic behind how the equation was built. For example, for conceptual questions, let's say there are questions wherein you only have to answer maybe Boyle's law, Charles' law. So if you'll not be paying attention with the concept, so those things, easy problems would not be as easy as you think. So, okay, but anyway, without further ado, there are, I think, um, uh, I think there are three main: Boyle's law, and then you have your Charles law. These two are the basic ones, and then you have your Amonton's law. I think there are two scientists with the Amonton's law, but anyway, these two are really as the important. So Boyle's law states that your this gas laws actually relating pressure, volume, and temperature, because you can see your gases is somewhat um, the entity, meaning the properties of gases, is usually contributed with these three. I mean, they are dependent with these three. That is pressure, volume, and temperature. Now we come to Boyle's law. Boyle's law relates temperature and pressure. No, pressure and volume. So Boyle's law, from the word boil, I think that's where your boiling is derived. So it states that at constant temperature, Boyle's law. So that's what the law says. At constant temperature, your volume or pressure, your pressure is inversely proportional with your volume. Okay? Your pressure is inversely proportional with your volume, meaning the higher your pressure is, the smaller your volume is. So, and vice versa. The higher your volume is, the smaller your pressure is. Okay, for example, you can maybe I can give you an example. For example, in your haay mo engine ito ng mga sarakyan. Pag ani mo fuel nasusunog, you have an engine, let's say an engine, you have an engine. So you put fuel to it, usually hydrocarbons. So your hydrocarbons, let's say a C8H H18, when it catches fire and undergoes combustion, your C18 becomes a gas. So this is a liquid, and it has, let's say, it is a liquid, and then you have a gas phase in there, and then you sunog it, then it becomes a gas now, usually carbon dioxide and an H2O uh, steam, which is also a gas because of the heat. So you can see that the pressure increases, okay? Or the volume increases because your C818 is liquid, so they are closely intact, while your carbon dioxide is already a gas. That's why the volume now expands. Okay? When the volume expands, the pressure now, the volume is higher, so it will create a Ah, because this is constant. I mean, this has constant volume. Meaning the volume is constant here because it is confined to a constant volume. But of course, you have a piston here, which nullifies um, which uh, n- which can be pushed or pulled. Okay. So since the pressure increased, the volume is constant, pressure is increased, it will now create a volume that is pressure higher, volume is lower. Okay? The volume would be lower. I mean, the gas phase is has higher volume, but since this is confined in a particular space, so you would expect um, you will go to the pressure because the volume is confined. So the pressure would increase, higher pressure, you have lower volume. And that's why, since the volume will change, you have a fixed volume here, but your piston can go up and down. So your piston now will move because of the increased pressure. Why there is an increased pressure? Because you have a expansion of your gas. Okay? And that will cause us, higher pressure will cause us a lower volume in that case. Is my example correct? Maybe my example is mali pong la. So, garantahin eh. At first, of course, you have pressure and volume. Okay? So actually, the connotation with this one is you have pressure which is inversely proportional with your volume. So you have to put a constant for this. Your pressure is equal to K all over V. So if you want to relate two systems, that is first, you put C818 without any kalayo. So that's the first. And then you put kalayo to it, and that's the second. So what happens is you have a PV which is equal to K. Now the K is constant. So if you have those two instances, so you can say now that P1 V1 is equal to K1 or K, which is equal to K. P2 V2 is equal to K2. But since K is constant, that is also equal to K. And then you can equal these two, meaning P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So that's why you have two cases. At first, you have, let's say you have, let's say 1 atm pressure, atmospheric, and then let's say your volume is 1 liters probably. So because you have an increased pressure, your volume now should um, decrease. So meaning you can use this equation to calculate, let's say the pressure increase. Pressure increase, let's say 2. Now you can see that your volume now is uh, P1 V1 all over P2. And then you can see that your 1 times 1 all over 2, your V2 now would be decreased by 1 half. So if the volume is decreased by 1 half, so basically, the piston now will adjust. Di ba? Nag-smaller ang iya volume since your pressure to increase by 2. And then your volume now will decrease by 1 half. So that's what really means. That's what it really means by those laws. Okay? So that's what you have to understand. Maybe in notation, at constant temperature, your pressure is inversely proportional with your volume. So may I cut it para diri hilaba. And then we'll go to Charles' law and Amonton's law. Thank you.